Class. Today we are going to be covering review week lesson 35, and then you're also going to get a jury charge test, okay? So if you all want to open your books to page 243, words beginning with the vowels, the high frequency words. So you have words that start with A. I think you already know this. It's always going to be long A. So for example, you have the first column is the long A. So you have afraid, you're going to write A, frayed. You're going to write afford, afford. Okay. You've got arrest is a brief, A, long A, R, S asterisk. Okay, for arrest. And then you've got a long is A, long. And then you have words ache, it's just the long A sound, so long A, K. Aim, long A, M. You have area, area. Arid, arid. Atheist, atheist. No, I think it's Y-E-S. Atheist. Is it coming out for you, Jen?
Yeah.
How did you stroke it, Jen?
Long A T asterisk, come back Y asterisk IS.
Okay, I wonder, atheist, okay. So that's how you write that. And then you've got, let me bring up my notes. Thank you, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
You have anchor, anchor. You have addict, addict. Admit, admit. Atlas, atlas. Axis, axis, okay? So that's how you write those words for the words beginning with the A sound. So the E, all words that start off with the E, you have ecology, it's just the E by itself. So anytime you're repeating the E sound, like ecology, just E and then ecology. You have emotion, E and then motion. It's E by itself. Because remember, long E is the apostrophe. Evict is E and then vict. Long E sound for each. These are all one syllable, most of them. Each, ear, ease, east. Eaten, eat, come back final N. Okay? And then you have edify, edify, embark. These are all the short E. Enact, enemy. You have escape, etch. Okay? So these are all words beginning with the vowels. And so you have icon on page 244. So it's the long I sound. So you have I and then con. So icon is long I. All words that have the I beginning is I and then con. Okay? You have icy, ice see, or do you hear I see? Whichever you like best. Irate, irate, long I. Ivy is long I and then VI. Okay, ivy. Is it coming out for you, Jen? I. There it is. Sorry. I was putting in an asterisk. Okay, and then you have iceberg, second column, iceberg. Ironic, ironic. Isolate, isolate. Okay, itemize, itemize. A lot of people ask me how do you stroke item. It's actually item. Okay, item. Elude, illude. Immense, immense. Immune, I am immune. Index, index. You have invent, in and then vent. Okay, so all words beginning with the O sound, which is the O repeats it, the O. O, beast, all words that start with the O is just the O. Obey is O and then B long A. Okay. I thought maybe you could write it like that. No, you can't. So okay is O by itself, K. Oppose, oppose. You've got ozone, O by itself, and then zone. Okay, second column, oaf is long OF, oak, like an oak tree, ocean, omen, Well, I actually hear omen, o, and then min. Okay, so you can write it like that. Third column, oblong, ob, and then long. Obsess, ob, and then ses. Oral, O-R-L. Okay, then the long U sound, so this is a little different, is going to be Y with the long U. So unique for the words unique is U, come back meek. Urology, U, and then rology. You've got utility, utility. You have, second column, uniform, remembers one stroke. Y long U, FRM. And then unify, unify. Unit, Y long UNT. Universe is one stroke, I believe. Maybe not. Two strokes, okay, for universe. And then you have user, Y long UZ, come back ER. Third column, ugly, the short U sound, come back LI. Unload is un, come back load. Update, up, come back date. Urban, come back ban. Okay? And then it says occasionally on 244, there are options on how to write the word. Some examples are given below. See the professional dictionary for other options. So easy, anytime you have an or in your dictionary, you can write either or. So do you hear easy or do you hear easy? Whichever you hear. So go through all of those and you determine which one you hear. And then you have page 245, words under B. When a word ends with the vowel or vowel sound, do not use the vowel alone. Okay, you can't leave it alone, so you include a consonant with it, even if you have to double it. So banana is banana. Circa, circa. Data is data. Okay, and then you've got drama, drama. Plaza, plaza. Okay, E, words that end with an E, you can't leave the long E by itself because that's your apostrophe. So you're going to write absentee, absentee. Acne is acne. So include the consonant. Agree is long agree. Coffee is coffee. Committee is committee. Okay, so make sure you take advantage of the spelling. So long E with the consonant because long E by itself is a apostrophe. The long I for the ending, L by. So it's long I with all of the consonant, okay? You have anti, I think. Anti, you can write A-E-N-T with an asterisk and it'll attach. So like if it's anti-semantic, or anti, what's a good anti-word, Jen, with the A-N-T-I? Anti-hostile. It'll give it to you. Most anti-words are one word, okay? So just so you know, you can do it that way. Rabbi, but if anti's by itself, you are so anti everything and come back tie. That's how you write it by itself, okay? And then you have chili, chili. You have mini, min-ni. Taxi, taxi, okay? And then O, words ending in the O, long O sound. So you can't put the long O by itself. You have to include it with a consonant. So you've got auto, cargo, ego. You've got jumbo, jumbo, solo, video. Okay? And then long U sound, you have to include the long U with the consonant. So a crew is a crew. Curfew, curfew. Menu for menu. Rescue for rescue. Okay? Going on. So a lot of theory principles are covered. You also read everything to yourselves. Don't skip anything. Just go over it as many times as you need to. And then C, you have already learned that a consonant on page 246 is attached to the last stroke for words ending in AN, IN, US. This avoids any potential word boundary conflicts. So just remember, for words that end in AT, you can't leave AT by itself because that's at, so include the consonant. So affiliate is affiliate. Appellant, let me give you the brief for appellate. P-A-E-L-T. You want to know that because you're always going to have somebody that's appealing something. So appellate is P-A-E-L-T. Appellant, one who appeals, is P-A-E-N-T. So one has an N at the end because appellant has a N in it. Appellate has an L in it. You have cravat. You have fiat. Jurat. Okay? Can't leave the AT by itself. Can you leave the IT? No. So same thing. Audit is audit. You've got edit. You're just doubling up on the consonants, okay? You have words ending. So all these words on 246 that are in the middle there, demerit, you have to write them as is. So demerit. You've got inherit. You have merit, one stroke. Spirit, one stroke. Exhibit, one stroke. Habit, one stroke. So all those words are written just like they are, okay? Words ending in V, G-I-T, the vowel, or D, G-E-T may double the consonant or be written as follows. So all those words can be written in one stroke. Budget, one stroke. Digit, one stroke. It might be a hard stroke, I'm not sure. Just if you do your finger exercises, it helps. Fidget, F-I-J-T, and then gadget, G-A-G-T. Okay, you've got the bottom of 246. Words ending in ET are generally written ET or consonant ET. However, words ending in CKET may be written KT to save a stroke. So you want to know most of these. Bullet is one stroke. It says two, but it's B-U-L-T. You want to know bullet. Corset, corset. Hatchet, hatch it. I think planet might be one. No. You have cadet, K-A-D-E-T. Bucket is one stroke. Docket, one stroke. Picket, one stroke. Pocket, one stroke. Ticket. So make sure you know those. You can just include the KT in there, okay? And then you have more words on 247. So make sure you go over everything because there's so many principles covered. So go over it as many times as you can. Like I said, some of the best writers always say that they always go over their theory. Even after you're done learning your theory, you still have theory homework. So you just have to reinforce it to where you're not hesitating, okay? So if there's something that, a lesson that was difficult for you, just always go back over it. So you have words ending in on. Can I leave it on? No, you have to include a consonant. So you have arson, bacon, dragon. Just double up the consonant. Echelon. Lesson. Poison, is that a brief? No. Poison. You have summon. Okay, remember prison is P-R-I-Z, that's a brief. Prisoner, add the R because it ends in an ER, so add the final R. Words ending in O-R, you come back with the consonant. So actor is actor. Sorry, I didn't know my notes weren't there. Sorry, I didn't know you couldn't see my notes, Jen.
Oh, that's okay.
Geez, that was way back there. Okay, any questions, Jen? I know I'm just kind of going over the lesson again, but do you have any questions on anything?
Nope.
Okay. Can you see my screen, Jen? Is it?
Yeah, I can see your screen. I could see the English. I just couldn't see the notes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Right, because the notes weren't coming out. They were stuck somewhere. Okay, so here we go. Sorry about that. You have tutor is tutor. You have one more. Visit is viz. Tor for visitor. Oops. Okay, viz. So visit, you all, is, I think it's vit. Yes. Visit is vit. The brief is V-I-T. Okay. And then you've got The bottom of section D is real important. Oral, words starting with OR words, you have to put the consonant in. So ordain, you put in the consonant, okay? You've got orate. Make sure you include the consonant with those, okay? The same with error, words beginning with ERR. Error is ER with an asterisk, ROR. Errant, ER, come back rant. Okay? Era, ER, come back RA. Put in the asterisk or it won't attach it. Any questions, Jen?
No.
And then, so what some of the briefs, again, is GEN. You have appropriate, prot, PR longo PT. You have available, V long ABL. You have innocent, NENT. Innocent is NENT. Profit, to make a profit from a sale, is PROFT. And then that was THAFS. So make sure that you all know those. You also have some more amend. So if available is like that, how do you think availability is, Jen?
It's just V long A BLT.
You have the LT for availability, okay? Good. And so you have some more briefs. Amend, AEMT. Or sorry, AEMD. Amend, AMD, sorry. So what do you think amendment is?
Not sure.
I know, let me check. No? AEMT, you add the E for amendment, okay? So amend, AMD, amendment, AEMT. And then you've got immediate is mead. So if it was immediately, do you add that? No, meadly, okay? Come back with that stroke. And then you've got official, FIRBL, and then present, PRENT. You've got remember, REB, official, FIRBL, and then there have been. I would pick up the one stroke for there have been. Do you use that, Jen?
No, I don't.
I know, that's a good one because you're going to hear it a lot. So make sure that you know that one, there have been. Inspect is NPT. NPT for inspect. Which had is KHD. Which had. And then I wanted to give you airplane is air with the P. Think of the P for the plane. And then you've got, so if airplanes like I think airport is PT, yes. So air with the PT for airport. Amount, AMT. And then anyone is NIN. So let's say I wanted to write anyone else. How would I write that, Jen?
NINLS.
Put the LS in it and it's anyone else. You're going to hear that a lot. Appropriate, we already wrote that one. Effort, EFRT. And then energy, NRJ. Make sure you know energy because that comes out a lot too. Okay? And so what I'm going to do now, any questions, Jen, on any of it?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just going to dictate some words from your homework sheet, okay? So hopefully you have your homework sheets from Blackboard, and it's day 3 for lesson 35. Here we go. Find a focal point and write the words that I give you. Ask me if you don't know how to stroke them, okay, Jen?
Okay.
Here we go. Obsolete, assembled, excited, underscored, abortion, itemize, easier, obedience, aggressive, waitress, creator, taxi, midnight, ammonia, enigma, acne, committee, digress, unanimous, agreeable, stupendous, elastic, affectionate, solicit, impossibility, visit, employee, hassle, askew, climate, admissibility, alleged, contribute, oral, common, embarrassed, season, tissue, avocado, accessible. Any questions, Jen, on any of those words?
Avocado?
It's A-V of avocado. Anything else?
Oh, just A asterisk F? Okay.
Uh-huh. For the AV.
Okay. No?
No? Okay. And so here's some sentences, and it's going to be 15 of them, but not at any speed, okay? Just for practice. Sorry, my test fell. Okay. Here we go, you all. I agree that he is adept at denying his drug abuse and or other addictions. An ideal item on my vacation itinerary would be a tropical island. As the moon emerged from the clouds, we were elated that so little time had elapsed since the eclipse began. The hero of the video was a macho fellow from the ghetto who knew judo. Anger and jealousy had eaten away at her like a cancerous ulcer. The old woman fluffed the pillow on her narrow bed and stared thoughtfully at the photos and cameos on the bureau, dusty icons of her past. His ego was without equal. There was a coupon on the carton of bacon for a gallon of milk. The orchestra playing on the town plaza evoked a happy nostalgia. He was sent on an errand to point out the company's error of omission to the building contractor. Have they identified the perpetrator? The store proprietor was arrested for selling tobacco and alcohol to minors. An instructor, a professor, and a tutor are all educators. They were prohibited from soliciting in that section of town without a valid permit. The hairdresser was imprisoned for arson of the salon. And any questions, Jen, on any of those words?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I was going to give you alcohol. Do you know it's called KHOL?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, alcohol. And then you have Anything, Jen, that came out that maybe threw you off? Gallon, you wrote glon.
Yes.
Okay, good. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. And so what I'll do now is I'll give you some jury chart speed building and a test. That way you all can practice that. That way you'll feel what it feels like to get a real test, okay? Some of you are already done with your lit, so it's good to get into the jury charges now, okay? Remember, you need 2 80s and 2 100 jury charges for the next class in the summer. That's intermediate, okay? So that's what you'll be registering for. So let me give you some words that come out on your jury chart speed building. You have Clarence Hetz. Remember, some of these proper names won't come out. So I would just throw Clarence like that, Hetz like that, just because it's a proper name. You don't want to Clarence or Clarence like that. Hetz, and it's H-E-T-Z. Mayhem, human, unlawfully. So this is just really speed building from the next class. Disabling is dable. Disable is dable, if you like that. Tongue. T-U-N-G is tongue. Malice is stroke. Malice. Two strokes. Constitute is toot. In other words, is nords. You have violent. V long I L-N-T? Yes. Eye, like your eye hurts. Okay. So this is a little tougher. It is just from the other class speed building, okay? And so just any questions on any of those words, Jen?
Nope.
Okay. So here we go, you all. This is your speed building, okay? At 70 words a minute. The defendant, in this case, Clarence Hetz, has been found guilty of the offense of mayhem. What is mayhem? Any person who maliciously and unlawfully deprives a human being or of a part or member of his body or disfigures it is guilty of mayhem. Any disabling or rendering it useless would be considered mayhem. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously cuts or disables the tongue, puts out an eye, or slits the nose, ear, or lip is guilty of mayhem. You will note that I said with malice. In order to constitute mayhem, the act must be done maliciously. In other words, it would be an act done in a way which would vex, annoy, or injure a person. Now, in addition to the 2 other elements of the offense, to constitute the crime of mayhem, the injury must have been inflicted by the accused while he was making an unlawful attempt, coupled with present ability to commit a violent injury upon the person of another by physical force. Now, it is not necessary that the defendant intended the particular injury which resulted from his attack. Now, Clarence Hetz, accused of mayhem, is charged and has been found guilty of blinding another person. In the law, the phrase putting out the eye, as used in connection with mayhem. Any questions, Jen?
I don't think so. No. Let's see.
Was that tough?
A little bit, yeah.
I know. Okay, so that's normally how the speed building goes in the next class. So I just wanted to give you speed building from that class. Usually I pick something easier, but this is normally how it is. So let me give you some words that came out. You have what was I going to get? Intend is S-T-W-E-N-D. You have maliciously is maliciously, 3 strokes. You have, I was going to give you in order is Nord. So think of the N for in and then order, O-R-D, in order. Accuse is A-Q's, come back D. You have vex, annoy. I think in connection is nection. Maybe not. No. You have, I was going to give you one other. Sorry. It's not coming to me. Oh, in addition. Yes. In addition is nition. Think of in for in. Addition, the ending is N-I-G-S. Okay? Nition for in addition. Let me see if physical force is force. No, police force, sorry. No. Okay? And this is going to be at 80. Oh, disfigures, did you write that, Jen? Disfigures.
Yep.
Okay. This is going to be at 80. So just write what you can. Don't butcher your notes. Just get it correctly. The defendant in this case, Clarence Heads, has been found guilty of the offense of mayhem. What is mayhem? Any person who maliciously and unlawfully deprives a human being of a part or member of his body or disfigures it is guilty of mayhem. Any disabling or rendering it useless would be considered mayhem. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously cuts or disables the tongue, puts out an eye, or slits the nose, ear, or lip is guilty of mayhem. You will note that I said with malice. In order to constitute mayhem, the act must be done maliciously. In other words, it would be an act done in a way which would vex, annoy, or injure a person. Now, in addition to the other elements of the offense, to constitute the crime of mayhem, the injury must have been inflicted by the accused while he was making an unlawful attempt, coupled with present ability to commit a violent injury upon the person of another by physical force. Now, it is not necessary that the defendant intended the particular injury which resulted from his attack. Now, Clarence Heads, accused of mayhem, is charged and has been found guilty of blinding another person. In law, the phrase putting out the eye as used in connection with mayhem includes not only a case in which an eye is entirely removed, but also an instance where the eye has been injured to such. Anything there, Jen?
No.
Okay. And so human is hume, right? Human being, you write the B. Okay, H long U M B. H long U B, sorry, H long U B. And then you have, don't forget necessary is NES. You have element, L-E-M-T, or L-M-T, sorry. So could I add the S with that? Yes, because there's no vowel for elements. Okay, and this will be at 90 words a minute. The defendant in this case, Clarence Heads, has been found guilty of the offense of mayhem. What is mayhem? Any person who maliciously and unlawfully deprives a human being of a part or member of his body or disfigures it is guilty of mayhem. Any disabling or rendering it useless would be considered mayhem. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously cuts or disables the tongue, puts out an eye, or slits the nose, ear, or lip is guilty of mayhem. You will note that I said with malice. In order to constitute mayhem, the act must be done maliciously. In other words, it would be an act done in a way which would vex, annoy, or injure a person. Now, in addition to the other elements of the offense, to constitute the crime of mayhem, the injury must have been inflicted by the accused while he was making an unlawful attempt, coupled with present ability to commit a violent injury upon the person of another by physical force. Now, it is not necessary that the defendant intended the particular injury which resulted from his attack. Now, Clarence Heads, accused of mayhem, is charged and has been found guilty of blinding another person. In law, the phrase putting out the eye as used in connection with mayhem includes not only a case in which an eye is entirely removed, but also an instance where the eye has been injured to such a degree that the injured person cannot use that eye for the ordinary and usual practical purposes of life for which it was intended. Now, the defendant says he is not guilty by reason of anything there, Jen?
No.
Okay, so not guilty is not. Don't forget, not guilty is not. And then there was something else. Particular is plar. You have anything, Jen, that, no?
No.
Okay, so this will be for readback at 70 and 80, okay? The defendant in this case, Clarence Heads, has been found guilty of the offense of mayhem. What is mayhem? Any person who maliciously and unlawfully deprives a human being of a part or member of his body or disfigures it is guilty of mayhem. Any disabling or rendering it useless would be considered mayhem. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously cuts or disables the tongue, puts out an eye, or slits the nose, ear, or lip is guilty of mayhem. You will note that I said with malice. In order to constitute mayhem, the act must be done maliciously. In other words, okay, Jen, whenever you're ready.
Okay. The defendant in this case, Clarence Hetz, has been found guilty of the offense of mayhem. What is mayhem? Any person who maliciously and unlawfully deprives a human being of a part or member of his body or disfigures it is guilty of mayhem. Any disabling or rendering its use
Rendering
its
it.
useless
Uh-huh.
would be considered mayhem. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously
Good. This is 80.
cuts or disabling
Disables.
puts
Okay, the
out.
tongue.
Then I have puts out
Uh-huh.
an ear
An
or
eye. Or
or an
the
or
nose, ear.
the nose, ear, or lip
Mm-hmm.
is guilty of mayhem. You will note that I said with malice. In order to constitute mayhem, the act must be done maliciously. In other words,
Good. Good, Jen. That was a little tough. So what I'm going to do now is read it at 90, and then not that. I'll go to, well, I'll just read it all at 90, and then your test, okay? The defendant in this case, Clarence Hetz, has been found guilty of the offense of mayhem. What is mayhem? Any person who maliciously and unlawfully deprives a human being of a part or member of his body or disfigures it is guilty of mayhem. Any disabling or rendering it useless would be considered mayhem. Every person who unlawfully and maliciously cuts or disables the tongue, puts out an eye, or slits the nose, ear, or lip is guilty of mayhem. You will note that I said with malice. In order to constitute mayhem, the act must be done maliciously. In other words, it would be an act done in a way which would vex, annoy, or injure a person. Now, in addition to the other elements of the offense, to constitute the crime of mayhem, the injury must have been inflicted by the accused while he was making an unlawful attempt, coupled with present ability to commit a violent injury upon the person of another by physical force. Now, it is not necessary that the defendant intended the particular injury which resulted from his attack. Now, Clarence Hetz, accused of mayhem, is charged and has been found guilty of blinding another person. In law, the phrase putting out the eye, as used in connection with mayhem, includes not only a case in which an eye is entirely removed, but also an instance where the eye has been injured to such a degree that the injured person cannot use that eye for the ordinary and usual practical purposes of life for which it was intended. Now, the defendant says he is not guilty by reason of insanity. Okay, and so what we'll do now, Jen, is you'll get ready for your test. And so ladies, what I would recommend doing is maybe just opening a new file. Right, Jen? What did you do, Jen?
I had to close that file, my other file, because it was messing. It wasn't loading. Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is just close out right now and then just get back right in. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that, okay? And then we get ready. I'll give you some words on your test. So I'm trying to think, Jen, you would put for the date. Next week's date. You can put both, April 6th.
April 6th? Okay.
Put today's date and then in parentheses, April 6th, okay?
Okay.
So just one more minute, and then let me just see if there's any proper names. I don't think there are. No, I don't see anything, okay?
Okay.
Even court. Nope. So just. Are you ready, Jen?
I am.
Okay. Good on your read back. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we'll do now is get ready for the test. And so it's going to be 80. So just label it 80 jury charge, number 1, test, and the date. You can put 4/6/17 or Jen's case, today's date as well. Okay? And so I see no proper names. So what I'm going to do, Jen, is I'm going to mute you so that none of the feedback comes back on the recording. Okay? Any questions, Jen?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, this is test 80 jury charge, number 1 for 5 minutes. After you have done that, and if you cannot agree on a verdict in this case, then return to the courtroom and I will declare this case to be a mistrial. I will then discharge you from jury service with my sincere appreciation for your services. You may now retire to continue with your deliberations, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Counsel, we are resuming at 3:15 p.m. with the ladies and gentlemen of the jury requesting that a portion of the testimony be read by the court reporter. Welcome back to the courtroom. Members of the jury, I understand that you would like to have some testimony read back. It will take approximately 10 minutes for the court reporter to prepare and read back the requested testimony. Please be patient. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, having heard that portion of the testimony, I now direct you to return to the jury room and discuss this issue further. If you are not able to resolve your question about the requested testimony by the reliance on your collective memories, then you should write down what the problem is and give it to the bailiff. We will again convene in this courtroom and address any issues you may have about the testimony or the exhibits that have been presented in this trial. The time is now 4:30 p.m. and I understand that the jury has failed to arrive at a verdict after carefully deliberating the facts of the case. Would the bailiff please escort the members of the jury back into the courtroom at this time? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you at this time of some very special rules that you must follow. No one juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that took place in the jury room. The only way you can talk about them is by court order. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about the case and the deliberation process, you also are at liberty not to speak to anyone about the jury deliberation process. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you must use your own common sense and personal discretion when speaking to anyone about the case. As I mentioned before, there are many members of the press who, okay, and so you would just edit your test and send it to us. Remember, you only have 50 minutes and you can only listen to it one time, okay? Any questions, Jen? No? How did you do?
Oh, I don't know. I'm
Did
not
you
sure.
get nervous?
I got nervous.
Okay, Jen. Well, you can type it up and see how you did.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's it. So we'll reconvene tomorrow, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.